All right, welcome back everyone. We're going to do a quick video on basics of add-ons. So the add-ons purpose in World of Warcraft is to, one, help you navigate the game more efficiently, whether it's time-wise, leveling-wise, boss encounters-wise, or even just cosmetically. It's a lot more fun. You can do some more customization with it. So with that said, there's going to be a couple of basic ones that you're going to want to have. This is the one I'm going to do for Classic. Retail's got a bit more detailed with add-ons, but Classic is probably the best version, just going to give you a simple how-to and a simple introduction to add-ons. So first thing you do when you want to get these add-ons is you need to have a program to find them and download them and put them into the game. So the best one out there, I think is the only one out there too, is CurseForge. CurseForge is fantastic add-on or a program where you get in here, you're going to download it, you're going to pick your game, World of Warcraft, and then it's going to give you a ton of stuff to look through. So I'm going to give you kind of the basics ones that I use just to get you kind of started and get into the game. So once you've downloaded all that, you're going to notice that your game is going to be up here. It's going to have Classic on this drop down, and it's a Retail and Cataclysm Classic. Now these are the different versions of the game. So Retail is current content, Cataclysm is one of the reboots, and Classic, which includes Anniversary Realms, Season of Discovery, and Hardcore. For this one, this is just in the Hardcore version, but Classic encompasses all of those, so all of the add-ons will work in any of the Classic stuff. So once you get in, you're going to have three tabs here: Add-ons, Featured, and Browse, okay? So Browse is going to give you by far the most downloaded add-ons in the game so far. So Details, DBM, Auctionator, Weak Auras, Questy, DBM, all this stuff. So we'll give you a quick little cap on the ones that I have downloaded for the game. Atlas Loot, I've always enjoyed this add-on. This is basically a data bank of all boss drops, dungeon, world drops, faction, and PvP in the game. So if you're curious about planning your own, your questing strategy and your leveling strategy, well, I need to go to so-and-so dungeon for this, so-and-so dungeon for that. You can look up in-game and see where these pieces drop, what boss they drop off of, and even the percentage of their drop. So say you want to get this fantastic dagger that drops off of so-and-so boss in any place. Well, it's going to have a 4% chance of dropping. You know you're probably going to have to run that a couple of times at least to try and get it. And you might not get it still. It's 4%. But you can go to another place and say, well, Stagger is not as good. Close, not as good, but it's got a 38% chance to drop. So maybe you have to run it twice, things like that. It's a good way to plan out your efficiency while you're leveling. End game stuff, it's not really a decent add-on. You're not going to use it often unless you still want to do like professions or factions. But moving on, Cursor Trail. This one is just cosmetic. All this does is it puts this little electric bolt and a ball on your cursor. If you look at the bottom left of my screen, you can see this little ball over here. That's the Cursor Trail. Okay, pretty cool looking. You can change the effect to, I think they've got like 20 or 30 different options. So it's fun to go through and kind of find something that you like. Deathlog, now this one is purely for Classic Hardcore. All it does is it shows you when someone dies. So in Hardcore, when you die, that character's dead forever. So all your stuff on there, that character, the time, talents, everything, gone. So quick side note too, if you're in Hardcore doing that, make sure you create a mule to send all your gold and random stuff to. Otherwise, when your character dies, they die with all the gold and random stuff. So have a mule. It's a good idea. Learn that the hard way. Next one, Questy. This one is pretty huge, I think, for Classic, just because it gives you the ability to plan out your quests more efficiently. So this is going to be marking stuff on the map. Say you need to kill 12 Planestriders to get 12 Planestrider beaks. Well, it's going to show you on your map every instance where a Planestrider is going to spawn on the map. So you can plan out, say, hey, I need to go northwest to kill these guys, but then I need to go north to kill this guy and south to kill this other guy. Well, you can plan out a route. That way you're working more efficiently while you're leveling and not wasting, an extra 20, 30, 40 minutes a day just walking around the middle of the Barrens or somewhere. So huge app, pretty handy. Recount, the next one, this one's kind of just a for fun app or add-on. I don't really think it's going to be it's crucial for anything, except personal development and maybe proof that you don't suck at some points or proof that someone else does suck. There's really no other benefit to it. There is You can track your damage and your healing, your mana gained, energy gained, interrupts, dispel, stuff like that. So you can find out, say, if you're in a dungeon or a raid and you've got 4 healers and one of the healers isn't pulling enough, and they're just the other 3 healers are suffering. They're running out of mana too fast, too early. You can say, hey, this guy is not healing as much as he should be. Here's the proof in the heal meters. What do you want to do? So it can be beneficial and it could be detrimental to you, but I use it as a personal kind of pushing device. Say, hey, how can I improve my rotation better? How can I get more DPS out of myself or more heals out of myself without overhealing, and so on. So it can be a motivational add-on, a tool in the game. Next one is Taco Tip. This one just does eye level, which is going to be your gear score or the average level of your gear. So a lot of people, they won't accept you into a dungeon raid or a mythic plus or a any kind of content if your gear score is too low, because they don't want to, one, carry you, and two, you need to be able to contribute to the run, somewhat good manner if you want to try and run it. A lot of times the add-ons like this came about because people who were 5 levels too low were coming into dungeons and not helping whatsoever. So now the team is basically, if you were a 5-man team, you're basically now a 4-man team. And if you had 3 DPS, well, now basically you have 2 DPS. So it's kind of a checks and balances for everyone in WoW. It can be rough because you can get denied from a lot of stuff because some people take it very seriously and some don't. So it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, but if you can if you know what your eye level is and you know kind of after playing the game for a little bit what it should be for that level, you'll be just fine. It is good to know. Last but not least, Z-Pearl unit frames. Now this one is purely cosmetic in the fact that, like, the different nameplates in World of Warcraft, like this is my nameplate. Drastically different from the one in just basic classic, what the Blizzard UI gives you. So you can change shape of it, you can change the color of it, you can change where it's placed. If I was to click on my pearl here, and I could drag this around my whole screen. So if you wanted to clean up your whole screen and put stuff at the bottom, you can do that. Put it all up to the left side, to the right side, whatever you want to. Very customizable. That way you can keep your screen nice and tidy, just the way you want it. Now, retail has this already with their edit mode. So this is kind of an outdated app as far as like tidiness of your screen. But you can still use it as far as changing the look of the unit frames and the abilities, colors, and stuff like that. So, and there's plenty of other ones that you can do this with too. But we'll quick pop out and into the game here, and I'll show you briefly a little bit of each one so you can kind of get a feel of how they work. Because some add-ons, when you get them, they're pretty confusing, especially if you're new to this. They're programs that interact within the game and you have no idea how they work. So it can be a little daunting at first, but most of these don't require any setup. They're built to work for you right away. So you shouldn't have to customize too much beyond, whatever you want to do as far as cosmetics too. But we'll click into here. So as you can see, like I said, here's the cursor. It looks pretty fun. First one on here is, we'll do Questy, because this is going to be probably one of the most important ones while you're leveling. Like I said, this is a huge efficiency booster when you're leveling, as far as being able to plan out your quest routes and not wasting any time while you're leveling. You can go out and look up leveling guides too. They'll give you some. If you want to, go for it. I've never been a huge fan of them. I mean, leveling is part of the game. That's part of the enjoyment of it, Not that you want to sit there for 16 hours trying to find, some kind of femur or a planestrider beak, but you do want to try and have a little bit of fun with the game. I mean, rushing to 60 is not that much fun. The whole game is fun playing it. Enjoy the game. So when we get in here, Quest Track, you can minimize it by clicking on it, okay? If you want to go into any options at all, just click onto the little question mark right by it. So this will give you kind of setup of anything in there. I have never changed anything in here except for maybe coordinates. And coordinates, I'll kind of show you that when I open up the map and show you the nodes that Questy gives you, okay? You can go to My Journey, and it'll kind of show you what you did, when you did it, accepted, completed, accepted, completed. You can search by zone, whichever quest, place you're into. You need to move it. Now, if you go over this menu again, like I said, you can move this little quest tracker all over the place. So if you did... Let's see, where is it? There we go. So left click and drag with control press. You can move this wherever you want to. You can put it up here, you can put it down here, it doesn't matter. Now you see this little window bar right here. This is going to be kind of the window frame. Now if I hold shift and click on it, I can drag it down. There we go. There we go. So you can open this up. So say you've got 20 quests, you can open that up to a huge window, or you can keep it down lower so it's not taking up too much of your screen. Either way. Another benefit is that it gives you the ability buttons with certain items. So instead of having to go into inventory and click on something, just gives it to you right here. Super handy. And if you want to condense just a couple of things, you can just click on, the drop down bars here. That way it keeps everything nice and tidy too. So say you've got some area that's completely done right, this one. I can just minimize that because I know it's done. So a lot of things you can do with it. It's a great app to have. So when you open up your map here, now, like I said, it's going to show you nodes of where things are. So I need to kill, 10 pale maintainers, skinners, and poachers. So now this is going to show me all the areas on the map where they spawn. Okay. And then I've got to do Wind Fury over here and Dwarf Digging Picks over here. So there's no reason for me to go down here and then over here and then back up here. I could just go right up to the left here and do all three at once, complete this quest up on the top here, and then go back instead of bouncing all over the map constantly. So as far as quest efficiency goes, this is a huge tool. Just think of all the walking back you'd have to do, time that takes, so huge. Now, you'll also notice that this gives you coordinates up here. It'll give you player coordinates where I'm sitting, and then it'll also give you current coordinates of your mouse. So if you need to find something, like say you have to Google, okay, hey, where is, or go to Wowhead and say, hey, where is this, blah, 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 it's not showing up. Well, you'll find in comments usually with the item or something, oh, it's at coordinates 4836. So you just go to that coordinate and it'll find your item. It's pretty handy. Next one is going to be the death log. So death log is going to be this little skull icon up here. And like I said, all this does is show you last words of players that have died, and how they died, where they died, what guild they were in. It is pretty fun. This guy's last words, oh no. Help. Okay. And there's pages of this. I mean, it's crazy. I can pull with bow. Yeah, it's fun. That's just purely for entertainment, but it's a good time. Next one we're going to be is quick atlas loot. So this is that data bank I was telling you about. So this one is going to have the dungeons and raids. So here, what did I say? Razor Friend Crawl. We'll pick up Razor Friend Crawl. Look at that. So here are all the drops for all the bosses. Okay, and like I said, there's a drop rate, 59.58%. Item level's 29. It's a pole arm, so on and so forth. So like I said, you can kind of plan out what stuff you want to do. If you've got quests for these places, obviously go ahead and do them if you can. But it's a good resource to have there. Crafting, same thing. This will give you all the crafting abilities or professions, and it'll kind of give you levels at what time when they give you experience and when they're done. So factions, this is going to be just your reputation throughout all the factions in Classic, whether it's friendly, honored, revered, or exalted, and what those oh good lord, what the rewards are for those. PvP is the same, and then your collections, which is going to be your endgame tier sets as well. So this guy's a druid. Let's see here. Druid, set tier 1, set tier 2. There we go. And tier 3. And if you click into these sets, it'll give you all the pieces and what they look like, what they are, the buffs on them, everything. It's pretty fantastic. So use this as a really good data bank and library for the game. Damage meter down here, this one, like I said, just gives you a damage readout. Now, if you click on any of these, you can announce it to your party. You can say it just in regular chat and whatever. This one's going to be your settings menu. I've never messed with this. I think it's fine just the way it is. If you want to change colors or whatever else, you go for it. Overall data, this one here is going to give you pretty detailed analysis on whatever fight you're in. So we'll say this last fight, the Prairie Wolf, I did all of 2 damage per second. Let's see, that's not right. Let's go to wires. There we go. I did 13 DPS, 116 damage, which was the whole life. I did 100% of the damage, okay? If you mouse over like I am right now, it gives you a breakdown of what abilities did what. So my Wrath did 44% of the damage, my Melee was 30, my Thorns did 10. So if you click on it as well, it's going to give you even more detailed, okay? So it's going to give you this. So I had 2 counts of Wrath at 54 damage total. My Melee was this, and it will give you generally a crit as well, but my character doesn't crit because I'm level 7. Next one and final one is going to be your unit frames up here. So this is going to be the little pearl on your map here, or on your mini map. Now this one is incredibly daunting to look at when you first see it. It's a lot of tabs, a lot of stuff to click through, a lot of stuff to worry about, and that's not necessarily the case. So a lot of these are you can let go and not even worry about. So what I usually do is I have a setup that I like, and when you get a setup that you like, you can just hit save and it'll save that exactly how it is, okay? So you start a new character, you can go in, just hit load, and bam, your frames are just the way you like them when you had it on that first player. Very easy to do. We'll go into player here and we'll click on 3D portrait. So this is some customizing. Now you can see how it's kind of breathing with that when I click my mouse over it. So it kind of gives you a little bit of, I guess, direction of where you're going. But when you click on 3D portrait, we're going to watch the portrait, and now it gives you an animated portrait. Kind of cool. So little things like that you can change. Original cast bar, I like having the original cast bar. Otherwise you can change it to cast bar used on player frame. So now your cast bar is going to be up here. You know, kind of depends on the person. Party and raid and all that, very much the same too. You can move this stuff around. So say you want to tidy up your screen a little bit, you can move stuff over there. Let's move this down here. If I want to have all my character screens right down here, I could do that. Look at that. See, so now it's down here. Now, if I don't like that, I can just go back to where I had it before, hit load, and everything's set back to where it was. So it's very customizable, and if you screw up, it's okay. You can just fix it again with the load. So beyond that, those are kind of the basics of it. I've never horsed around with that one too much, but you know, if you feel like you want to go in there and customize even more, by all means, go for it. Some other add-ons I would recommend getting further on for like boss fights and stuff, I would do Deadly Boss Mods, or DBM. That is great for encounters and pretty much a staple of anything in retail. Auctioneer is great with if you want current auction prices on items, if you want to sell. So you've got a bunch of small eggs in your inventory from killing raptors or plane striders, and you want to see what they're worth. Well, with the Auctioneer app, even if you're out in the middle of the field, you can check prices on these things and say, yep, I need to save these. I can sell these for a boatload. This will be awesome. Another one is Gatherer. If you're herbalist or mining, you can use Gatherer to find nodes on the map. It'll pinpoint nodes all over any map, whichever area you're in, of where those, you know, so we'll say it's Peace Bloom, where Peace Bloom spawns or where copper nodes spawn. You can find out on the map exactly where all these are, so you can efficiently gather, and if you use it to sell money, efficiently make money from the auction house. So there's a bunch of add-ons out there. I would say this is a pretty good way to get started like this. So give it a try. If you guys have any comments or have any questions or about add-ons, about adding them, about exploring with them, or even new ones, let me know. I'll do my best to answer it. But until then, everybody, you have a great afternoon and happy hunting.